to it as usual. We'll start with questions in the room. For anybody on Zoom, please go ahead and hit that raise hand function button. We'll get around to you as soon as we're able, but for now, we'll start in here. Maz, we'll start with your question. Mike is coming to you over your right shoulder.
Hey, Brian, I'm just wondering, just from above it all, just the suddenness into the season.
Yeah, it sucks. The suddenness, yeah, after a long layoff. You know, there wasn't any flow really to the end of the year. But yeah, I mean, losing like this certainly hurts. The opportunity was there to have another home game. So yeah, right now the guys are hurting, and you know, even some of the coaching staff, some of us old guys are hurting a little bit too.
All right, other hands on this side of the room? Sure, Jose.
Brian, racing to carry an injury towards the end of the match. What's the status?
Just re-pulled his hamstring. He did it, you know, a couple weeks ago, and we thought he was back, but when he went in the game, and you know, he re-injured it.
Jeremiah.
What did you make of what did you think of the chances that you were creating in this one?
Well, obviously the biggest one was Jordan's chance early. Crepeau makes a save. He had Josh's strike from top of the box was pretty good. He goes down to make a good save there. I mean, the long distance stuff, you had Alex cutting in on his left, you had JP, you had Albert hitting the crossbar. Those are not high expected goals, but you know, they were good efforts. The biggest one probably for me was in the second half when Yaimar kind of couldn't get enough on it in that scramble. So yeah, I thought there was enough opportunities to get at least one. I don't know what the expected goals were, but you know, I thought overall we could have, you know, equalized and tried to get the game into overtime.
All right, we'll come around this way. Nico, I saw you there.
Coach, just wanted to get your take on the substitutions, and do you wish that maybe you would have brought in Raul any sooner than you did? And in the past, we've talked about maybe Jordan and Raul not really working together, two up top. How did you feel like it worked today?
Well, it obviously didn't work because we didn't score. Would I do things the same? I thought we were creating chances in the second half. I thought we were, you know, dominating the play, dominating possession, creating chances. You know, so I don't know if I would have brought him in any earlier. Maybe I could have brought him in at the same time as Nico for the sentimentality, but that's not my job. My job is to try and win games, and I thought at certain moments in the second half we were okay. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, Nico couldn't really impact the game, and Raul didn't have many chances. He had a couple good plays. Nico had a couple good plays, some set pieces. But again, overall, it's not just about those two. It's about the entire group. And we just weren't able to, you know, find the goal for the equalizer.
Come up to the front row here. Jade, I see you. Mike is making its way over.
Thanks for taking the time, Brian. I wanted to ask about the situation with Christian, Roldan, and Chinalini. You know, on the outside, was that it seemed like the whole stadium kind of lost it at that point as far as what was perceived to be unbalanced officiating. Wanted to get your take on that if you reviewed it and how much that played
well,
into.
Look, I've gone on record many times. Refs have a hard job. Ted obviously thought that Galini got a touch on the ball. I'm not so sure. But he's in charge, and he made that decision. Christian certainly thought that, you know, he was around the corner. I've seen Christian do that many, many times. You know, get around the corner and create goal-scoring opportunities, so we'll never know. But I just want to go on record again that Ted Uncle, you know, didn't cause us to lose the match. There wasn't a ton of flow there with all the fouls and kind of the delay of game and all that sort of stuff, the showmanship. But he didn't cost us a game.
Jake.
Brian, what did you see in the goal from Buonga? And is that a gamble that you're okay with Yaimar taking?
Well, it was one mistake. We're a little unbalanced. It's not just on Ymar. We're a little unbalanced, a little higher up the field. Josh and JP, where were they in that moment? How did the ball turn over? Ymar thinks it's going to another player. Alex, we wanted Alex to get higher up the field. We wanted Bwanga to have to defend. But again, in that moment, they made a play. So credit to them.
Alyssa.
Coach, finishing good chances has just been a bit of a story this season throughout. What do you feel about this kind of culminating here in this game and not being able to tie?
Yeah, I think that was a storyline throughout the summer. Certainly, we're snake bit tonight. It'll be something that Craig and I discuss, and we'll, try and figure out ways how to be, good with the roster. Coaching staff will go to work right away. I know those guys, they're upset. They're going to try and work on different things. How do we create more chances? Jordan loves playing up front, but we still have Raul under contract for another year. Leo Chu made good strides this year, but he can be even better. So we'll work on it. We'll start working on it.
Go right here.
Hi. What with Ladero obviously playing his last game for the club and Rui Diaz having less of a kind of a different role in the team, obviously coming off the bench, what does this mean for kind of the future of the club? Is it entering a new era perhaps with a new bunch of players?
Well, every year the team turns over. How many players turn over? Is it a new era? I believe that's 10 years is an era, right? My time might be coming too, You never know. It's always going to be difficult when certain players leave the club. And I'll start with, Zach Scott, who started with me in the USL days. And then we had Casey Keller. And then we had, Clint. And then we had Roman Torres. And now it's Nico and Ozzy. Don't forget Ozzy. There's always going to be great players at this club that have done great things for this organization. And change is inevitable. It's pro sports. We can't be afraid of change. We can't be afraid of making decisions. And the club's going to survive. The club is going to keep going. We're going to find new good players. Again, Craig and I will go take some time over the, next couple of weeks and decide and make decisions, and then we'll go into next year with a plan, and we'll let you guys know what we come up with.
Quickly over to Zoom. Jackson, I see you've had your hand raised. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Thanks, Alex. Coach, you kind of just said there, the 2 weeks that you take there with Craig. I'm wondering how long you give yourself, whether it's tonight, whether it's the next couple of days, how long do you give yourself thinking about this game specifically before your brain completely switches over to looking ahead to 2024?
That's a tough one, Jackson. It'll probably take a couple of glasses of red wine to figure out what we did wrong. I will think about it for a while. I think that's human nature. I think all of the players in that locker room will think about it for a while. To the previous question, I think the coaches already are starting to, talk about what we could have done, should have done. So we'll reflect on the game. Certainly we will meet as a staff and try and learn from this season, not just the one game, Jackson, but from the season, and figure out what we did well, what we can improve on. That's just part of the normal process that we go through.
All right, time for a few follow-ups so we can get everyone over to the locker room. Jeremiah, we'll start with yours.
You look at the stats and they were pretty positive for you guys, but how would you grade yourself in terms of the game plan and the approach to this one?
I think the game plan was good. I think we did what we needed to do, except we didn't execute in a couple of moments. I mean, again, look, if Jordan scores that goal, this press conference might be different. I think the teams are so close that making that one play was going to be the difference in who advances. And so their goalkeeper was able to make a play. and their center forward was able to make a play, or their winger, excuse me. They had a false nine, but Boanga makes a play and Crepeau makes a play. And unfortunately, we couldn't in those critical moments.
Jada, we'll go to you next.
I just wanted to know what was said to the team afterward. And
Not much, Jada. Those are hard conversations. You thank everybody in the room for their effort, their application. They're all good pros in there. And that includes the training staff, the equipment staff, the coaching staff, the front office, Adrian, Craig, Grant, the admin guys that do all the work behind the scenes. It takes a lot to run a professional sports club, and you have to, take these opportunities to thank the people that work behind the scenes and help you be successful. I think everybody tries, everybody does a top-notch job within this organization to help the players have everything that they need to be successful. I think the Sounders are one of the flagship franchises in the league. And it's not just the players on the field, it's everybody behind them supporting them as well.
Maz, you still have one?
Yeah.
Why don't you close us out? Here comes the mic.
I was going to ask you a tactical question, but I'll go just more like philosophical. You talked about, an era, 10 years and things like that. And Jackson asked about, you said it's going to take a couple red glasses of wine. Just how much do you go into the postmortem here in terms of your club? Do you look at, you've got players there, but do you then take a look at the strategy, or do you say, you know what, I like what we're doing here, we just have to get a couple pieces? How much do you do that deep dive?
Well, we'll do that deep dive extensively in the next couple weeks, like I said. What I'm proud of, Maz, is that we changed the way we played this year. Okay, we changed fundamentally the way we played, and the coaches did a great job. The players did a good job adapting to that. And so what I would say is we were pretty close to doing something pretty special. At the end, it's pro sports, and again, it comes back to making plays. But we did a lot with this group, and so I'm proud of that fact. And we will continue, again, to be driven to make sure that our success continues. Is this season a failure? In some ways, yes, it is, because I think we had a big opportunity. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of the success that we did have.